Today's notes, all about congruent triangles. That's what we're talking about. What does it mean for triangles to be congruent? First of all, let's remember, what does the word congruent mean? Equal. Okay, so we say two triangles are congruent if all of the sides and angles, so sides and angles of one triangle are congruent to all the sides and angles bless you, of the second triangle. As a picture, here's what I mean. If we draw two triangles, these triangles are congruent if all the sides on the first triangle are congruent to all the sides on the second triangle. So these sides are congruent. These sides are congruent. These sides are congruent. That's not enough, though. It has to be sides and angles. So I would also need to show these angles are congruent. These angles are congruent. And these are congruent. Now these two triangles are congruent. So these two triangles have the same measure because all their sides are the same, all their angles are the same. Now, those pieces that are congruent, like this pair of sides that are congruent, or this pair of angles that are congruent, those are called corresponding parts. Corresponding parts are the sides or angles of the two triangles that are congruent. That was worded poorly. So what I mean is it's the congruent sides or the congruent angles. That's what the corresponding parts means. It's the sides or angles that are congruent. Okay, so I'm going to do an example here. Okay, bless you. It says identify all congruent corresponding parts. And so we're identifying the sides and angles that are congruent between the two figures. So in terms of sides, there are 3 pairs. And in terms of angles, there are 3 pairs. For the sides, if I stick with 1 tick mark and 1 tick mark, how do we name the side, which is a segment? How do we name a segment? How many points do we need? How many points do we need for a line? 2. Thank you. So that first one, AC, is congruent on the second triangle to FH. So notice I picked the starting point and the ending point. I put a bar over the top. I could say AC or CA. It doesn't matter. Okay, if I go with the 2 tick marks then, I have AB is congruent to FG. And then lastly, 3 tick marks and 3 tick marks. BC is congruent to GH. So those are all of the corresponding sides. We also need to identify the corresponding angles. So I'm going to start with the right angle. I can say that angle A is congruent to angle F. Then if I go with this 1 arc and this 1 arc, I can say that angle B is congruent to angle G. And the last one, 2 arcs and 2 arcs, angle C is congruent to angle H. So those are our corresponding parts. Those are all the pieces that are congruent to each other between the two triangles. So now that we've shown all the sides are congruent, all the angles are congruent, now we know the triangles are congruent. And so what this bottom piece is called is this is called the congruency statement. And so triangle ABC is congruent to the other triangle. The order, though, is very important. Like it says up here, order matters. So let's start with the ABC. What we notice on ABC is we go from right angle to 1 tick mark to 2. So when we're writing the other one, we got to go in the same order. Right angle to 1 to 2. So that would be triangle FGH. And you'll notice that that tells us where it matches up with above. AC is congruent to FH. You see that up here. BC is congruent to GH. You see that up here. Angle B is congruent to angle G. So all of these corresponding parts are found within the congruency statement. Questions for me? I would like you to do this second problem. So you're doing the same thing we just did. Write down all the sides, all the angles, and write a congruency statement, please. This is what I got for all of my corresponding parts. I didn't write a congruency statement yet. In terms of writing a congruency statement, you can just follow the angles that are congruent. So I don't even need to look at the figure. I can say, okay, triangle PMN is congruent to triangle ZYX. That is not the only possibility. I want to be very clear on that. If you chose a different order, like maybe I chose MPN. If I chose MPN instead, how would I have to change this second triangle? YZX. Yeah, just follow the same pattern. MPN, okay, YZX. How do we feel about this? We feel okay? Okay, we're going to write one more thing at the bottom. I'm going to tell you, this is what you're going to be expected to do on your quiz. You ready? Okay, that's not that helpful. Okay. If you are given a congruency statement, like triangle PHS is congruent to triangle GEO. Can you guys write this down? Fill in the following. PS is congruent to what? EG is congruent to what? Angle H is congruent to what? Or triangle OEG is congruent to what? So without a figure, you're going to have to be able to identify the corresponding parts. So I want you to just take a minute right now and see if you can fill those 4 in based on just the congruency statement above. Anybody PS is congruent to GO? PS and GO? First and third letter, first and third letter. EG? HP? And you're just following above. So EG, HP. Angle H, which angle is that going to be congruent to? E. And then lastly, if we change the congruency statement, just follow the pattern. OEG, got to do the same thing over here, SHP. That's what you're going to have to be able to do for your quiz. We feel okay with that? Okay. Questions for me? Okay. we're going to take notes for a few more minutes and then we'll take a break. You go next page. All this stuff at the top, I don't think any of that's important. Not on your homework. You don't need to know it. So is anybody upset if we just skip it? No? Nobody's upset? Great. So happy about that. Okay. This is what I do want to talk about, though, is the third angle congruence theorem. Okay. If two angles of one triangle are congruent to two angles of another triangle, then the third angles are also congruent. So if you have two pairs that are congruent, the third pair has to be congruent also. It does not mean the triangles are congruent. This is only referring to angles. So in the picture, we have pair 1, pair 2. Even without markings then, we know that angle C is congruent to angle F. We are going to do these last two examples and then we will take a break. Okay. This first one, name all the congruent angles in the triangle. Okay, we need to be really careful here. If we start with the one tick mark, the way we have been doing it is we want to say angle H. If I say angle H, do we see that there's ambiguity in the figure in terms of which angle I'm talking about? How many angles have a vertex of H? How many are centered at H? More than that. 3. There's this angle, and the whole thing. So I can't say angle H. I have to be more specific. So if I want this angle right here, I would say angle FHG. All right, I'm just following along. FHG is this angle right here. So then if I want the other angle on the right side, that is angle JHG. H has to be in the middle. So then, if I look at these two tick marks, again, I can't say angle G. There are 3 angles that have G at the vertex. This one, the whole thing. So we got to go in order. Surrounding that G is F and H. It doesn't matter what order you go in. So you can say FGH, HGF, doesn't matter. I'm going to say angle FGH. So then if I do the same thing on that right side, that is angle JGH. Okay, those are the only ones that are marked. Thank you so much. Avery, this is day 3. By the theorem above, though, if we have two pairs congruent, like we do now, we automatically know there is a third pair that's also congruent. And it's the ones that are not marked. Here, here. Now, what's really nice about these angles, if I say angle F, is there any ambiguity? No, there's only one angle that has F at the vertex. So I can just say angle F is congruent to angle J. Okay, this does not mean that the triangles are congruent. So just because we have 3 angles congruent does not mean that the triangles are congruent. They could be, but not necessarily. Okay, I would like you to do that second one, please. Name all the congruent angles in the 2 triangles, please. I'm going to ask you guys to tell me some of the angles that are congruent, so hopefully we feel okay about this. Thomas, can you give me one pair of angles that are congruent? You said AEB?
Yeah.
Okay, AEB.
To CED.
CED. CED. Okay, AEB is this one. CED is this one. Why are those congruent? You're correct. What kind of angles are they? Vertical. Yeah, great. Thank you so much. Vertical angles. Okay, did Thomas need to use 3 letters? Definitely. There's a whole lot of angles at E, so you have to use 3 letters. Okay, Jacob, can you tell me another pair of angles that are congruent? Angle ABE. So this one? And what's the other one? CDE. CDE. This one. Is that what you meant? Okay. Let's adjust this a little bit. Let's take a look at the ones that are marked. So Thomas already did those vertical ones. The only other markings we have right now, I want to focus on those. Zulkarnain, what are the 2 angles that are congruent because they're marked congruent? A and D. Zulkarnain, can you just use 1 letter? Is that fair? Yeah, there's only 1 angle at A and only 1 angle at D. So that's okay. Okay, so now we have 2 pairs of angles congruent, which tells us by the theorem above that there is a 3rd pair that is also congruent. Chloe, can you tell me the last pair of angles that is congruent? B and C. Beautiful, thank you. Maddie, could I have used 3 letters for those angles if I wanted to?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely could. But I'm lazy, so I'm not going to. Okay, last page has 2 problems. We are going to do one together and then that's it. If we go on to this page, it says use the given coordinates to determine if triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. Yeah. Okay. Looking at this, is triangle ABC congruent to triangle DEF? Okay. Let's do some plotting. Triangle ABC. A is 1, 1. B is 7, 1. So this is A, B. C is 7, 7. Technically, we don't know how to do this, and so I don't want us to spend our time doing it. We are going to skip this entire page. You have 1 problem like this in your homework, and I'm telling you to skip it. So I don't want us to do something wrong that we haven't learned. So when you get to this problem on day 3, you're just going to skip it. Sound good?